Harry Potter can kiss my
Hey guys, welcome back to Spooky Tuesday, a weekly podcast where we're breaking down all of our favorite slashers, thrillers, monster movies, and black comedies on the new scariest day of the week. I'm Sydney Thompson.
I'm Monica Height.
And I'm Chelsea Duff. And this week we have a very special treat. And I have maybe an apology due to Sydney. Perhaps a formal I'm wrong.
Wow. It's a big week.
Wow.
Starting really strong.
A late birthday present to me.
Sydney Palooza never ends, baby.
Never stops, baby.
Anyway, this week we're doing a very special movie that I've seen. Sydney and Monica had not seen. And so when we had floated this idea previously as a Pride Month movie, as the only person who'd seen it, I was like, I don't remember it being gay. I'm here to say that's not true, because when I rewatched this film, The Covenant from the year 2006, I saw some gay shit in there, bestie. I saw some gay shit in there.
This shit is gay as hell.
I also saw an amazing through line from last week, which again, our timing is always right. We always do it on purpose.
So true.
But when what was her face? Carol Ann said they're here. And the poltergeist who she was actually talking about was the Sons of Ipswich, which I thought was really interesting. Because that's one of the first lines of this movie.
True.
Right? Because Kate's like, they're here.
They're
God,
here.
You're so right.
And she's
The
like,
Sons
who?
of Ipswich.
The
Sons,
start
baby.
of this movie. This whole movie. What a joy. What a joy to see this for the first time in the year of our Lord.
Yeah, tell me about your
2022.
experiences.
Okay, because I wish I had seen this in 2006 because my little heart would have gone pitter patter for all of these hot sexy men in this movie and all the one-dimensional women in this movie. Poor things. But I feel so much better having watched it for the first time now as a woman who knows she's bisexual, so I could have the full gay experience here. Because I feel like maybe some of it would have gone over my head in 2006. I wasn't very smart back then, but now with my intellectual, educated brain, I had a great time.
What did you think, Sid?
This movie fucking slapped. Like this movie gives me everything that I want. It gives me men with sexy big lips. It gives me women in unnecessary lingerie.
Just hanging out in their undies.
Why don't we do that?
We should do that more often.
I'll do that.
Why aren't
with
we
you guys.
always
Yeah.
in sexy lingerie when we hang out at the house? Something to edit for future.
I do wear cute little PJ sets sometimes, and then one time I showed up at Alex's and I did a dramatic coat reveal. So I feel like that covers some bases.
But that was just one time, and every time they're together,
You're
they're
right.
nude, so
You're
anyway,
right.
Continue to Sydney.
Here's the thing. The sexiest thing you would think, oh, Sydney, sexy lingerie. No. The sexiest thing you're getting out of me is like a 2XL t-shirt and some granny panties.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what do you call it that I'd never heard before? A shack shirt?
Yes. But you'll get me in a shack shirt, but also I have specific t-shirts that are sleep shirts that are they're the right texture. Therefore, they can be sleep shirts. They can't be too stiff. They have to be big enough.
Yeah.
Like, because they gotta cover the butt, you know? Because like I want to be able to walk around pantsless in my front yard.
Sure.
See, the issue for me is that I'm a little too tall for like any shirt besides like a 4X to cover my butt because I just got a long butt. Also, now you know that about me. So my 2XL Spirit Halloween shirt barely covers it, but that's my version of lingerie too. I do own lingerie, but it sits in my drawer. Actually, this drawer right here beside me.
Ooh.
Wow, break it out. What a tease.
Oh man. I mean, okay,
should we
you had
do
a list
Spooky
going.
Tuesday OnlyFans?
Oh my god, no.
You've made this joke before. This joke has been made.
I'm just saying.
Starting to think it's not a joke, Sydney.
Not from me, but I support you. Okay, wait, you were giving a list of all the things this movie has for you.
Oh,
We
yeah,
got
yeah,
to
yeah.
start
We
with
gotta
lingerie woman, and then I cut
ladies.
you off.
Uh-huh.
Oh, hold on. The last thing it gives me, which is the most important thing, is
Uh-huh.
men saying really bad lines in sexy, deep voice tones.
When they just have to commit to saying something absolutely absurd. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
like that
Oh,
did it for
poor
me.
Sebastian Stan.
What was
Oh
the
my
one that I
God.
really liked?
I'll be your weotch. Oh,
Yeah!
you'll be my weotch.
That was it. That was 100% it. I loved
couldn't-
that.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe my ears. I was like, okay, well, it starts out strong too because we get the like.
So
What
funny
does
that
he
he
say about
says
Harry
that.
Potter?
He
He
says
says Harry Potter. I don't like. Why do I think it's Harry Potter can suck my ass?
it's Harry
That
Potter can
was
kiss.
it.
It's Harry Potter can kiss my ass.
Harry
You were
Potter
so
can
close.
suck my ass.
You were so
okay?
close.
I was like, I'm making it care. I'm making it care. See, look, you give me an inch, I take a mile. I've rewritten it to be 100% gay. Unfortunately, I had to write the ladies out, but no.
They were barely
But-
there in the first place.
Okay, we'll get to a reason why they need to be there at least a little bit, but not yet, not yet. I guess we should start at the very beginning. A very good place to start. This opening title sequence.
The credits.
Fucking yeah.
Oh my
hell
god, the title
fucking
sequence.
Yes.
It's so
Yeah.
cool. I love when
And
they
it makes
cut it, when they do
absolutely
something.
no sense either.
But wait, the opening with the text, is it near or did that go so fucking fast?
Yes,
I read
couldn't
like
read
really slow,
any of it.
so that is always how I feel, no matter how long it's on the screen. So great to
I
feel
was-
not alone in this time.
Yeah, I was trying to write it. It was like fast enough for me to read, but if I would look away for 1 second, then it's like game absolutely fucking over. I rewound approximately 1 million times trying to write that down in case I needed it for later.
No, I mean I just rewatched it like 5 minutes ago and did not
You don't
gain
really.
anything
It's not that
from
important.
what that
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
Here's the
The
thing.
Book of
they-
Damnation. That's cool. I like that.
And
Sounds
they barely
spooky.
even touch on that. They like you see the Book of Damnation, but it's not really plot relevant other than they have information and the book is there while they say it out loud. But that's kind of it.
I was having a hard time finding like any articles on this movie that weren't
Mhm.
I was thinking there'd be like it's gay. Here's some articles. I found 2, but one was like it was from Horror Queers, which we love, but it was like an interview with them and it was just like back and forth. I was like I can't read that right now. It wasn't the right time for me. I did find a lot of great YouTube compilations about this movie though, which was great. There is a compilation in the first link in the references, and it is a cut together of all the times Sebastian Stan has been asked about this movie, and it's very funny. And it
'Cause he
includes some of
hates
his
this movie,
greatest
right?
quotes.
Does
Well,
he
he's
hate it?
really bad in it, but I mean, like he's great, but he's also
Well,
really bad in it. Like acting
He's
wise, it's like
appropriate for what the role requires.
yes, I would say that this is a terrible showing from all of these actors who have gone on to great things, many of them. But like Caleb, he's like, he's trying really hard. But
He's
there's some
perfect.
bullshit.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Nothing wrong. Taylor
Uh,
Kitsch with his black muscle tee. That made
Oh.
me want to go to the gym and get some muscles for my muscle tees.
Taylor Kitsch. What do I know him from?
Friday
Like,
Night
what?
Lights. Are you fucking kidding?
Oh well, I didn't
she
fucking watch
hasn't.
Friday Night Lights, so that's why I was like, I know his face, but I didn't
Did
know
you
why.
see the massive failure of a movie, John Carter?
I did not.
Or the other massive failure
Did you
of a
watch it?
movie, Battleship, featuring Rihanna?
Or any of the X-Men
No.
movies. He played
Yeah.
one of the X-Men characters. And I feel like you could have been
Oh.
into that.
Monica,
love
did you
X-Men.
watch the TV series Waco? He played
What?
oh, you should. That's really good. And he plays the cult leader and is incredible in it.
I deeply
he's in
need to
True
know who he
Detective.
is in X-Men. Oh, I've watched True
Remy
Detective.
LeBeau, Gambit. Isn't that the card guy, the playing card guy?
God, I have no memories of a playing card guy. How unfortunate. Is
I
he in the
didn't
Halle
watch
Berry ones?
X-Men. But I simply cannot say at this time
It's too
without
bad.
going
It's too
down
bad.
a
I would have
longer.
loved to see more of him because he's so hot. Okay, like let's go through every guy. We got Pogue Perry. That's Taylor Kitsch.
He
Horrible
was
name.
in the movie where Blake Lively has 2 boyfriends. Isn't
Yes,
that
Savages.
Savages?
I haven't seen that either.
Oh my
God
God, Monica, you
damn.
have to see that
watch
one.
the movie where Blake Lively has 2 boyfriends. You'd love it.
Yeah, we're putting that on a Fifth Friday because that shit's gay.
It's
Friday.
This
Friday.
segment. We're now Spooky Fridays.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Okay. I
Oopsies.
also love that his name is Pogue. Like that is something I
I
haven't
hate that
heard.
his name is Pogue.
I
Why?
know.
It's like pogo stick. I thought it was absurd and not even old timey. I don't even know. I've never
Well,
heard that name before.
Wait,
It's
Chelsea,
exciting
apparently-
to me.
the listeners don't even know what this movie's about.
Oh, they know in their hearts. Okay, wait. First, Pogue is. You're right. It's not an old-fashioned name, but it's not his real name. It's a nickname apparently, because IMDb trivia says his name is either Nicholas or Christopher, and I don't know where Nicholas came from, but Christopher was in the opening sequence. Anyway,
Where the fuck does Pogue come from then?
Just
Anyway,
fun. They didn't explain. They
As a
explained a
child,
lot in this
he
movie, and a
was-
lot they did not explain.
is Pogue a part of the Ducati motorcycle? Maybe. Or maybe he was a great lover of the pogo stick as a child. Anyway, it doesn't matter. What were you going to say, Chelsea, about
Yeah,
the movie?
anyway, about the movie. If you are not familiar, first of all, you should go watch it.
Yeah.
But if you want to listen to this podcast first because you love spoilers and you hate to experience magic firsthand for yourself, then I'll just describe it for you, because IMDb logline for it reads: 4 young men who belong to a New England supernatural legacy are forced to battle a fifth power long thought to have died out. Meanwhile, jealousy and suspicion threaten to tear them apart. Wow. Well, I hope you really do like spoilers, because I feel like that gave a lot away.
That did give everything
does.
away.
What did you guys know going in?
Nothing.
Because I was watching it and I was like, is the plot really as obvious as it seems, or have I just seen this movie before and am remembering enough to guess what happens, even though I don't fully remember?
I knew nothing. I knew
Okay.
that
I
there
knew
was
that
some
they were
sort of-
witches.
I might have known that because I think you might have mentioned that. And I knew that there was some gay vibes, and I knew that they were swimmers because they all had their shirts off.
And those
so-
very tiny little bathing suits, extremely tiny little bathing suits. Okay, did you know I started to get, I don't remember exactly what moment, but pretty early on I was remembering or putting the pieces together about the 4 sons of Ipswich from the 5 bloodlines, but one of them died out, but there's a new kid in town and he is infiltrating the friend group. I was like, okay, yeah, I either remember or I see what's happening here. When did you start to
Well,
catch on?
I think that they did a pretty good job of, if you haven't read the IMDb log line, of putting the suspicion on Reed. Even from the very first moment of the movie, and I still want to go through every single character and say words about them because I have words about every single one.
Oh yeah.
But in the very first instant of the movie, you just see Caleb, Pogue, and Chace Crawford's character. What is his name?
Tyler.
Tyler. Oh, that's why I forgot. Not a big Tyler person. Anyway, you just see the 3 of them, and then
There's
Reed
4.
shows up right
Oh, yeah,
after.
Reed.
No, it's just the 3 of them at first. Trust me, I have a point. The three of them are just there looking moody, whatever. And then Reed shows up and they're like, "Oh, where have you been?" And he's like, "I just had some stuff I had to do." And so later on, when you find out that that dude is dead, you can be like, "Oh, well, where the fuck was Reed
Oh.
before?" I think it's a little too quick
Oh.
for it to really stick. But on the second watch, I was like, "Oh, they tried! Look at them!"
Interesting. Okay, did not pick up on that. I was super suspicious of Reed in the shower moment, but I don't want to skip ahead too much yet because I do want to talk about that shot in the beginning where they're all standing on the cliff. First of all, it's just fun. But second of all, when they jump right over the edge, obviously I immediately thought of Lost Boys.
Yep.
But it was interesting to see that apparently one of the director's whole things was that he wanted to make The Lost Boys for this generation. Like that's what he wanted this film to be. So I extra apologize and say if Lost Boys was one of our Pride movies, this could have been one of our Pride movies. That said, I do think it has November vibes, so I maintain this is a good placement for it.
At the second that it started, I was like, Lost Boys. I was like, who is the boy that they will like lure into their gay coven? And then I was like, oh, I guess it's not about that. Too bad.
It's kind of the opposite of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we talk about how absolutely fucking stacked this cast is, though?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
I want to talk about every boy and every girl.
Because, like, I was like, all of these characters look so familiar to me. Like, where have I known them from? And I know that Caleb was War and Peace from Sky High.
Hell yeah, brother!
Yes.
That's my bitch.
And he also has gone on to be like one of the stars of the Amazon Prime show, The Expanse, which is Adam's like entire fucking life. And he's gonna go
Oh.
nut. He like is obsessed with the books and obsessed with the whole show is all he talks about. And let me tell you, he has gotten sexier. So just a little note for you.
Ooh.
Good job,
Your boyfriend
Steven
or Steven
Strait?
Strait?
Steven Strait. Well, I don't know.
Adam
Maybe
also-
Adam
He's
took
It's like
a-
my
took
boyfriend
some
Steven
lessons
Strait. What are
from
you
Adam.
talking about?
My boyfriend Steven Strait and my other boyfriend. It's just like that Blake Lively movie. I have two
Yeah.
boyfriends. One is Adam, one is Steven Strait. That's not true. But anyway, he is sexier now than even in this film, if you can believe it. But in a
He was
different way.
sexiest as War and Peace to me, personally.
That was the
Yes.
long hair, though.
Oh,
It
we
was
love
when
the
it is
long
not
hair.
the long hair necessarily. It was when he had the long hair and the little bun at the base of his neck and the Chinese lantern scene, or whatever that restaurant is called. Anyway, we'll get to that on the Fifth Tuesday sometime in the future.
Okay, but then we had Reed Garwin.
Like Toby
the-
Hemingway.
Yes, who was in he was the groom in the Taylor Swift Mine video.
Oh
Mm.
my god.
Yes, I was looking at his IMDb after we were talking about this when we introduced it last week, and I was trying to figure out where I knew him from because I had this memory of him as like playing a queer character in something. I'm pretty sure
And it
just
was
one
this
of my
movie.
No, I think it was one of my friends back in my Harry Potter roleplay days just used him as a face claim for their queer
That
character
is
using all the pictures
literally-
from this film.
Well, let me tell you, because I saw this and I was like, he's giving me sexy Draco Malfoy. That's what he's
Ooh.
giving. I was getting Draco from him, and I've been only talking about
That
Harry
kind of
Potter
sullen
fanfiction
tude.
lately. Yeah, well, he just looks like him with the blonde hair.
Sure.
And the like bowl-ish cut, sexy bowl cut though, hot, good bowl cut. But I have been reading only Harry Potter fan fiction for the last 3 weeks, and it's making me think of the last time I did that, which was in college, and I got really into Drarry for a while, which is Draco Harry. And I was like, okay, he's playing gay Draco from Drarry. That's what this is. Anyway, it set the tone very nicely.
So does that make can Tyler be Harry then, I guess?
Yes, they have to be having something. They're always together.
That
Yeah,
is
they're a
true.
duo.
But Tyler, Chace Crawford, obviously Gossip Girl, but also recently The Boys.
I love that show so much, and it's extra funny because he plays a swimmer in this, and his character in The Boys is like a man who can speak to ocean animals and swim very fast and stuff. So, wow, it's derived
It's
from
a
this. Was this
clear
an
reference.
in-joke? Was this supposed to be a joke because this movie is bad? I don't know. I feel like that could be part of it.
But so this is only his like second acting credit.
Well, that's why he didn't get to say any words. I was like, poor Chace
He's like, you're
Crawford.
just
Thank you."
here
He
to look
literally-
beautiful.
He looks so pretty. He says like literally 5 words. 2 of them are blue panties. Unless he gets pink panties, I'm not sure. But
He
those
was
are
pink
so-
lace panties,
Oh,
actually.
he was pink lace panties. I'm so sorry. So he got to say 3 words then, and then 2 more words later in the movie, and that's
no,
it.
she was right here. That's 4.
Oh, you're right. I'm so
Honestly,
sorry.
Toby Hemingway had also been in very little before this movie came out. Some
Yeah,
of
he
the
was
other
in Black
guys had
Swan.
been in more. Yeah, I mean, Yes. But I think I was reading on IMDb trivia and it was like all 4 main boys did modeling work. And now I do feel like I recall that there was discussion back in the day because they were so hot and everybody was so obsessed with them, that they all had been cast like because they were hot, sexy models, I think, more so than because they were like good, strong actors necessarily.
Here's the thing. This movie is literally Abercrombie and Witch. I'm so sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Oh, great joke. Great joke.
Fucking on. Wow. I gotta sit with that for a minute. It really is. And I've watched this like really, really fun video about this movie. And it's by this wonderful YouTuber who I am now obsessed with. Her name is Nightmare Maven. I stumbled across her video because I looked up The Covenant Gay or something like that. And she has this like segment called Horror Education.
oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, we gotta get her on the pod. And so she did a whole video about this, also tagged in the references. And she was talking about how like this whole movie is like made like for the male gaze. It is, but in an interesting way. It's like all dudes who made it and wrote it or whatever, can't you tell? And they're just like, this is what women want, right?
Well, but here's the thing. Thinking about
I'm like,
it
yeah.
too, like their demographics are probably like 12 to 16-year-olds. And when you're like that age, you want like that's especially in 2006, you want like abs and like all that kind of stuff. Like that is what you know, like as a woman,
that
your
time, Abercrombie
female
and Fitch was
gaze
big.
hasn't
Yes.
fully developed yet.
I mean,
No.
that was the thing, was you were 100% spot on because this was the era of Abercrombie having shirtless models outside of their stores.
Oh my God. I remember one time I went to the Grove and I took a lot of pictures with the hot guy in the front. Anyway.
Yes, it was like a whole fucking thing. It was just like some random
Hot guy.
teenage to
Can't believe that was a
20-year-old boy
thing.
who was like ripped, who got a job standing shirtless outside of Abercrombie. That was his whole
Yeah.
job.
It was great.
That's
but
such a weird, fascinating marketing choice.
it was a different time when malls were effective. But also, okay, they were doing their version, like, oh, this is the ideal man. This is what women want. And what, yes, but I'm 2022, Monica, and that's when I'm watching this. And yes, this is my ideal man, a sexy man who is gay and a swimmer. That is what I'm
That
looking
is
for.
exactly what
I
I'm
want to
looking
see
for.
a sexy gay swimmer. That is exactly it. Yes, you've got it. Thank you. So that wasn't necessarily what they're going for, but I got what I wanted. And isn't that what's most important?
Yes, 100%. It's about you.
Yeah,
Right.
of course.
Let's finish the cast because there's a couple people that I was
Oh,
like
yeah, who
shocked by.
Okay.
So obviously you have Chace, who is Mr. Winter Soldier himself. Like we all know him. We love him
Mhm.
on this pod. He's also
And-
Hannibal.
Stan.
Yes. He was in Fresh.
But then another like big guy in this is, I don't remember his name, but he had the long hair and he's supposed to be like the bully, you know, of the other.
Oh,
who is like,
Aaron.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
and I was like, I know this man. Where do I know them from? He is the love interest to Raven Simone in the Cheetah Girls.
Kyle Schmid is his name.
Oh, interesting.
And I was like,
Oh,
I
yes!
know this man.
That just
That
unlocked
is-
something in my
wow.
brain. He's also in Big Sky, that show that I watched that has Reba in it now.
Reba.
And it has Jensen Ackles from The Boys in season 2, mainly season 3. But anyway,
It's stacked.
Uh,
It's stacked.
And then the two girls, Sarah and Kate.
Mm-hmm.
One, were both in She's the Man.
incredible.
Oh yeah,
And-
Laura Ramsey and Jessica Lucas are their names.
But Kate, Jessica Lucas, was also she was in Halloween Town 2, Calibur's Revenge. And she was the girl that the little brother wanted to like ask to a date, and then she turned into a vampire. And so he was like trying to like ask her to do something, and she turns around and she's like,
Wow.
So
A star, a
Wait, and
scream
what?
queen in her own right.
Halloween Town 2, Calabar's Revenge.
Well,
classic
if we're
film.
talking about Scream Queen, we should also mention that she is in the new Evil Dead and in Cloverfield, Monica.
What?
She's
My
Lily.
God.
I don't know.
When
if
are
that
we
is-
doing Cloverfield on the
I don't
throne?
know. You let me know what time is a good time of year for
Okay.
Cloverfield.
Anytime. Maybe I think New Year's, but I don't know if that's when it takes place. It's been a few years.
Okay.
I'll think about it very seriously. Wow, that's amazing. What an incredible woman. I love you, Jessica Lucas. I'm sorry that your character in this sucks so bad.
This cast is stacked.
It is so stacked. And this, like, immediately, it wait, what was the Twilight quote? Everything about you draws you in. That's how I felt about this movie. It also is so Twilight. It is so Twilight. When Twilight come out? 2007?
2008.
The movie came
2008.
out 2008. The book came out 2005. So before this, but 2006 for the movie. You have to wonder like how much overlap was there really in like production? But
Catherine Hardwicke watched this movie.
The blue filter on this movie is wild.
It's gorgeous. It looks really
and
good.
it's
and it made
raining
me
so
feel,
often.
It made me feel November, just as you said, Chelsea.
Thank you.
And it also made me think I should watch Twilight right now. And then I was like, no, then I'll get them confused. Because I also think that Caleb looks like Taylor Lautner. He's giving Taylor Lautner. He is giving
Yes.
Jacob. He's giving Jacob.
I feel like Steven Strait with his long hair was Stephanie Meyer's original pick for Jacob when she was like used to be like fan casting on her website, if you'll recall.
Oh my God.
So it's interesting that you left onto Taylor
Sky High.
Kitsch.
I saw it. Huh?
Could have been either of them. Either of them could have done that role.
True. Very true. Oh man, God. But yeah, I mean, I love it whenever I see a movie where there's like these elaborate parties for high schoolers. Like this was not my life, and it seems like it's really cool. Like I was thinking about it. I was like, what would it have been like to party in high school? Would it have been like that? Oh my God. But just from the get-go, they just make it very clear that like all the women in this movie are gonna have nothing going on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's really not that much more to say about it, is the thing.
There is nothing going on. There are some lines from the women in this movie that are truly shockingly not feminist. Just like the most not feminist thing I've ever heard. Like Kate at the bar, she's like, boys and their toys. Like Sarah's like, why aren't we having fun anymore? Why don't we go play? And she's like, we don't do that. Women
Girls
don't have fun.
This isn't what
Yeah,
we do.
That's how you know
Also-
Sarah's not like other girls, because she's like, well, guess what? Watch me. And then she's like, I know what girls do. They sexy dance to rock music.
No, I know what girls like. No, not what girls like, what they love. They love rock and roll. I love rock and roll.
To rock.
Here's the
That
thing.
is the song.
This was 2016, instead of the
6.
original. That's what I meant.
We
But
do.
also would work in 2016. They would absolutely be playing the Britney Spears Crossroads cover of this song. Okay.
Thank you. Someone had to say it. Someone had to say it. But we love Joan. Okay. We love the OG. But yeah, I mean, I do think that they did a good job of making you think that Reed was bad because he made that boy throw up, and that was funny. I thought that was funny when he made that boy throw up because he was mean. I don't know. It was great.
Did you go
It was
back
fantastic.
and rewatch that scene? Or
I
is that
rewatched
just-
the entire movie up until the last 20 minutes. This is what I did. Don't tell the police. I
Okay.
got in my car to drive home, and then I put it on my phone on top of my navigation and played the sound out my speakers. And whenever I was at a stoplight, I watched, and then I just listened while I was driving. And luckily I was at a stoplight when the first car crash scene happens, because I think I would have been really scared if I'd been physically driving the car.
I would like to say on the record that I hate that for you.
I would like to say on the record that you shouldn't do that. And this is something that professional podcasters have to do sometimes, but at home, you should not try it. Don't try this at home is also another phrasing that's more common.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't remember. I watched that scene. Obviously, I watched the scene. And then there was something that happened later that made me think, oh, was Sebastian Stan the one that made them throw up? Like, I couldn't remember the
No,
exact
it was Reed.
placement. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
that's
had like
interesting.
he doesn't do any. They do a good job. Like these are all the things that he does. He shows up late, like I was saying. He's like a bad boy and like gets them all to jump off the cliff and use their magic when they shouldn't. Like is the impetus for
Ringleader.
that. Then
He's
he
the one
makes
that does
the
the
guy
magic
bar.
with the girl's car too.
Yeah, it makes the guy bar, fixes the car. Then he drives, right? He
Yeah.
gets behind the wheel and pushes Tyler out of the way so he could like fuck around with the police. And then like they all decide to fly the car into the sky together. That's a group choice. But then he's like right there, right after the invisible man part that happens a little bit
Yeah,
later.
Yes.
yeah. That part
Um,
especially was what made me start to be like, okay, Reed, were you literally spying on her in the shower? Which is fucked up. But it's also fucked up that Sebastian Stan does that. Why does he do that?
Because he's a fucking. Why does he
Creep.
do that? He's a bad guy. He's a villain, Chelsea. He's bad.
He's a villain. Does he have any interest in women?
No, he just is in love with the boys.
Maybe he was
don't know.
testing to be like, do I have interest in women?
Well, I think he's
there's a naked
also-
lady.
He's like a terrorist of all of these people, like doing little mental games with them to fuck with them. He's a sadist. How about that? He wants to make everybody upset, so he's trying to get her all spooked.
I do feel terrorist is not an incorrect term in some ways, though, because there was a moment where I was like, we don't negotiate with terrorists. Like, whatever he said, I don't want to skip all the way to the end, but when he was like, you just give me your powers and you'll die and everybody else gets to live, why would I trust that you're not going to kill everybody else when they ascend as well? Why would I trust that?
He would totally do that. He's defo gonna do that. If he'd
He's
won, he defo would
100%.
have done that.
What a stupid idiot. Like, obviously, I mean, they didn't go down that road really anyway, but
Another thing I love about this movie, I love when people are bad at acting. So there's like a part of the script that's supposed to like explain things to the audience, but it's just so on the nose with this. Don't you remember, son, when you were 13 years old and you gained your powers? That whole scene with the mom was so funny to me. But the best part about it, which was also the worst part about it, was like it's shot really fucking weird. It's very strange. There's like a big light that's blocking everything. Like they could have just had the chair blocking the mom for the spooky reveal. I thought the spooky reveal, and this is because I'm a hopeful person. I thought the spooky reveal was that it was going to be Catherine Zeta-Jones. I was so sure. I was like, it's going to be Catherine Zeta-Jones. Look at her hair. Look at the vibe. And like, it's reminding me of The Haunting. It's going to be Catherine. It was not. God.
That would be
think
incredible,
about
though.
If it had been. Wow.
no.
This wouldn't
a
have a
woman
4%
named-
on Rotten Tomatoes if Catherine Zeta-Jones was in
First
it.
of all, isn't that the most insane thing you've ever heard? That it has such a low score on Rotten Tomatoes.
I
It's
was like,
insane.
A 4%? A 4%? I think it's a
Wrong.
sense better than a 4%.
Wrong.
It is trash, but a 4.
Here's
A
the thing.
4 is like really aggressive.
This is
It's like,
this movie is bad, but
It
it's
is.
so
that's
good.
everything that I want, except for I don't want the misogyny and the
I don't want the
anti-feminism
part
almost.
where they blow up the girl's skirt to reveal
But
that
here's the
she's got no undies on, and then Taylor Kitsch like does a big whiff as if he's sniffing her pussy. I didn't like that.
I'm sorry, but
didn't.
his line saying, "Boys, that girl hasn't worn underwear since she was 12," was so funny.
I was just like, is this what men do? Oh my God. I was thinking about that today. I was like, what if there's a breeze? How many times has this woman flashed people? I don't know.
I
Good for
mean-
her. I'm happy for her.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it myself. I would be scared.
I would be scared.
I would feel fear.
The thing that gets me is women that can go pantsless and jeans, pantyless like that.
Just like Manny and Degrassi.
Like
Do you
that's
see any underwear? That's because I'm not wearing any.
that's a no for me, dog.
I
I just
guess.
like I like to let her breathe every once in a while, but like
She's not breathing if you're wearing
Jeans.
jeans. I'll tell you that right now. She's
Nope.
gonna get. And I wear some like tough fabric mom
tough
jeans.
jeans.
They'd rip my shit up. Absolutely not. Sorry. Very graphic. Anyway.
Moving on.
Back to the beginning, or
Yeah, let's start
Let's start
over.
completely over. Okay, but also
where were we?
the pacing of this movie is very odd.
Yeah, it's so fast and then it gets real slow for a while.
they
it's
deliver
like-
a lot of exposition in a really heavy-handed way, where they're like I was like sprinting trying to write it all down to make sure I could keep track of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is really interesting that, and it honestly, it also sucks that like they get to be these witches. Nightmare Maven brought this up too, that like it was awesome that they're called witches and they're men. Usually men are like, I'm a warlock actually, but she apparently is a witch herself, and she's like, technically that's what they would be called. I don't like that apparently women cannot be witches in this world.
Yeah.
I like, but I guess women like barely exist in this world, so it's an all male society, but luckily they're all gay, thank God. But I think it sucks that they get these magic powers and like they're like not supposed to use them. That does suck. But I like the idea of it being like this addicting sort of like drug, the power itself. I don't know.
You
I guess
can
like,
use it, but it has a cost. I mean, that's like a classic magic story, is that magic always has its price, but
yeah,
this
but
is
usually
steep one.
yeah, it's like, I don't know. Do they have a scale to know, like, oh, if I like start this girl's car, how many? It's like that thing where they're like, if you eat a hot dog, 36 minutes will come off your life. I'm like, okay, at least I know for every hot dog, it's 36 minutes.
I'll eat a hot dog. Yeah, no
But
problem.
what's the scale here? Like,
I
how
hear
many
you.
minutes is him fixing the car? Like, they need a scale to figure this shit out, because like they
The
gotta at
people,
least use it
us, need to know.
sometime. I need to know. I need the hot dog scale for magic here. We'll have to do some research.
It is wild that all the bloodlines have survived this long if you can only pass your eldest son. You know what I mean? Like, there's no point at which somebody didn't have kids or only had girls.
It's, witch tradition. People are,
I mean,
they force those babies out.
maybe they can control that or influence that with magic also. I don't know. Maybe they want to leave their legacy, etc.
Yeah.
They're clearly having kids kind of young if the dad is 44 and Steven Strait is 18. And not like terribly young, but not wasting time.
Yeah, well, it's all hopped up on magic, so had to have a baby. It's just how it works. But yeah, I think the lore is kind of fun, though ham-fisted for sure. Like, I like the spooky house, like the weird dad is still alive reveal, and he looks like mashed potatoes. Like, it's just there's some really fun elements. Also, like, where is this an East Coast thing where they have bars for 18-year-olds?
But he just ordered a hamburger and a Coke, okay?
I know, but why would they let all these children in? It's like literally all children in there.
They are very sexy children, to be fair.
That
but
makes
I
it
don't...
worse. Only sexy children allowed in my bar. No, no.
I feel like they're boarding school kids and they're all rich for the most part. So I'm perfectly willing to believe that they all have fake IDs, That feels very boarding school kid to me.
Fair. That sounds fair.
It's basically Gossip Girl with witches. You know what I mean? Like, these are the elite of the area.
Why don't I remember that Sebastian Stan was in Gossip Girl? Who was he in Gossip Girl?
Played a character. I looked this up also because I was like, huh? Even though I didn't watch Gossip Girl, he played a character called Carter Bison, who like is in one episode in like season 1, and then like 3 episodes in season 2, and then like 6 episodes in season 3, where he like At
He's a
some point comes and
boyfriend.
tries to like scam the rich kids because he was a rich kid, and then he like fucked off and doesn't talk to his family anymore. So now he needs money from them.
Very
He's
similar
also a villain.
plot to this.
Also,
movie.
yeah, also a villain.
Literally the exact same plot to this movie.
Someone
It's
in the
insane.
Gossip Girl writer's room was a fan, maybe.
I mean, this is a very influential film. It's fucking stunning.
But yeah, he was also in Once Upon a Time. Just need to give my shouts to Once Upon a Time.
And apparently he was in Black Swan.
What? I thought you said Trace Crawford was in Black Swan, or was I not listening properly?
No. It's Sebastian Stan and then Toby are both in Black Swan, which is
Oh,
I
Yeah,
don't
the guy who
remember-
Toby
Reed
looks
is
like he
in
would
it.
play a ballerino. Is ballerino a real?
It is now. It's on the internet.
I've never
No
heard
further
that.
questions, Your Honor.
The bench rests.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to bring up something really quick that was very important to me.
Mhm.
The classroom scenes, there were many. There were two, but it felt like too many. But I love that the professor's like listing all these like highbrow authors, and then he's like Stephen King. And then I love that Reed comes around and he's like, "Ah, yeah, Dreamcatcher was the shit." And I was like, that's the one that I read. That's literally all about farts. And a lot of people shit themselves. I'm not kidding. A lot of people shit themselves in the book. And so I was like, is this a Dreamcatcher reference in and of itself? Anyway, it could be a brilliant Stephen King joke. Any Stephen King fans who've read that terrible, terrible book, let's chat. It was so bad. Don't read it. Oh
Well,
my God.
IMDb
was so
trivia
long.
said that Dreamcatcher is about 4 supernatural bestie boys. So, like, I think that also is kind of the clear
Who
reference.
shit themselves. That's not what happens, but there is some of alien inflicted IBS in that book. Okay.
Alien inflicted IBS would have also been a great title if we didn't already have Abercrombie and Witch.
We have to save that for when we cover Dreamcatcher the movie starring
Okay.
Donnie Wahlberg.
Oh, our boy
Stop!
Donnie Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Donnie Wahlberg again.
Donnie Wahlberg. What we were doing Sixth Sense, I was like, no.
What if-
he plays Duddits? No, I think it's gonna be an offensive. I honestly think it's gonna be an offensive
no.
portrayal. Yeah, I
think
really
we should do
I don't
Donnie
think he could
Wahlberg,
do it.
man.
No! Oh, my nightmare.
He
Oh my
gives us the
God.
ick. We can't do it.
It would
My
be
dad
funny.
watches so much Blue Bloods.
Oh, God. I'm sorry. I know that we're skipping all around, but like I don't think we shine enough light on it. I just like, do you ever just love rock and roll though, as a woman? Like, do you?
As a woman.
As a
Yeah.
woman, do you ever just say, I love rock and roll? So let's put another dime on the jukebox, baby. You
All the
know?
time.
And then
It's
I
very
felt
Jumbo
very
core.
seen in that moment.
Don't you think they do that at Jumbo's?
I was like, this is what women want. This is, as a woman, this is what I do. As a woman, I meant many
Mhm.
women. They do play that song at Jumbo's all the time.
Every woman, it's
It's
all
all
in
in
me.
But yeah, what a God. Like that, I was glad that the female characters existed in this film solely so I could have that moment of just absolute, like, what were they thinking? These poor men trying to
Yeah.
write this movie. And they're like, we've got it. They'll
just
love
kept-
this.
Mhm. They're like, what do girls do? They hang out in their underwear and they talk about how all girls who are not them are stupid and shallow and
bitches.
spineless.
Yeah.
I
That's
did
what
like
I
in the
do.
beginning with what was her name? Carrie or something like that. Kira.
Kira.
When they have the fight before
Yeah,
Reed
Kira's
makes the
like
guy
classic,
puke.
just like casually classist for like a sec. Fun.
Yeah. But then they're getting in the fight, and Aaron is like, apologize to Kira, and Caleb is like, actually, I think Kira needs to apologize to Sarah. And then whoever chimes in is like, you were being kind of bitchy. Like, I just love the way that they were just like, well, look, when you're a bitch, you're a bitch. Like, it has to be said. And then he
It
just
has
pukes. I
to.
thought that was great. Comic timing.
Comic timing. Oh, okay. Something we haven't discussed from this film is the death of that one boyo. Who the fuck cares what his name is, but he dies.
I'm sure he had one.
He had a name. It could be Steven, but I might just be thinking of a name that's for boys. So he's dead. That was a fun reveal. And I cannot believe how many times. What is it called? A deadling?
A darkling.
Darkling.
Darkling. I'm so sorry. I almost said deadite. That's not. No, I
Oh,
won't
different
give
movie.
it that. Yeah. um, the Darkling thing was so funny. I love the Darkling thing because it's part of the reason we get so many sweaty boys. Where's
Uh-huh.
Danny? We need him here for the drenched man count for this movie.
The
Oh,
limit does
Danny
not
would've loved
exist.
this.
They are drenched all the time. Caleb is drenched. We get a drenched Pogue. They all go in the water and in the shower so that they're constantly drenched. It's amazing. But they don't really show like the magnitude of the powers that these motherfuckers have very often. But damn, did they in that moment where the Darkling showed up in his passenger
Yes!
seat? And then we get a Final Destination reference in there too. Oh my god, he just straight up blows up and crashes into Sydney. Insert name for log truck here.
A putwood truck.
Thank you. See, we know about that. I was really trying to remember, but I couldn't. Like, we got a Putwood truck in this movie. Amazing. We love to see it. They're looking at horror history and they're learning and they're bringing it into the film. It's gorgeous. But he straight up blows the fuck up completely. That poor truck driver thinks that he has had a horrible episode. And the Caleb's just like fucking fine. His phone is even still there and the call is still connected.
That's funny. That's actually really funny. Yeah, he just like somehow uses his magic in that moment to throw himself into a million pieces out into the universe and then collect back in on the other side of the truck.
That's a
It
cool
fucking
power.
rules. It
It was-
fucking rules.
That slapped. That slapped. And everybody ended up being okay. And, the log only lost two, or the truck only lost two logs. So, not all
star.
bad. Yeah.
It is interesting that for all that they're like, I met your father when he was 1 year younger than you, and you got your powers when you were 13, and soon you'll be 18 and you'll fully ascend, and the magic is so seductive, and you think the world is yours for the taking, and it ages you each time, taking bits of your life until there's nothing left. For all of that, they're absolutely spelling so much out. They never really get into the Darkling thing.
No.
No.
And the Darklings aren't used for anything other than like a couple scares, just to be
I feel
scary.
like what I'm figuring out is that, like, if you kill someone, you can send their ghost to people. That's what I think it is.
Which is a very cool power.
That's
That
very
is
cool.
fun.
It feels
Here's,
like
like-
something Voldemort would do.
I'd be murdering people just for fun, just to like fuck with people, That would just be a silly little game I would do.
Oh my god.
I would personally never do a murder that wasn't called for, but
Mine could
If
all
I
be
did
called
do-
for. You don't know.
that's true. That's true. You didn't clarify. My apologies again.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's just a win-win. You kill someone who deserved to die, and then you get to scare other bad people.
I would prank my friends. It would be fun.
Edward Cullen Core.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. No, actually.
He would do that in his dark era.
Right. And then
It's-
he'd send it to Emmett and be like, aha, jokes.
Little prank.
They're just
He would do it to
razzing each
Rosalie
other.
just to be a bitch.
Yes. They're just
I
razzing
feel
each
like-
other for fun.
Like, did the romance in this movie move you when you were a child and you saw this, Chelsea? Or were you a child? Did you see this when it came out?
I did see it when it came out. I think in theaters. I don't remember being particularly moved by any of it, other than everybody thought the people were so sexy. They are objectively very hot, but this movie did kind of confirm for me that I'm just not that invested in sexy guys. Which is not news, but
Well, that's how you know,
know.
because these guys, let me tell you,
They're-
as
they're
someone
very
who is
hot,
attracted to
yeah.
men. Whoa.
you were sending some spicy texts while you were watching it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was feeling alert, to say the least, while watching this film.
Here's the thing. The timeline of their relationship is appealing to me because I would immediately like to just go to one party and fall in love with the nicest, hottest, cutest, most powerful boy at the school, and then
Mhm.
he be like completely in love with me,
Yeah.
and then tell me his deepest, darkest secret.
yeah.
Like that's
That sounds
in like a week. Like that's all that I want.
literally in a week.
Maybe not
Literally in
even a week. Maybe not even in
I
a
mean,
week. We don't know.
Could be 3 days.
They
Poor
only
girl,
go to
she's been
they only go to
Probably 2
class
weekends,
twice.
though. Probably 2 weekends, I think.
she meets
One
this hot
for the
guy. She's
party,
a new
one for the
kid in
dance.
town, and
Mm.
then 1 week later, she is
His love.
like, no, she is bait for him.
Oh.
Her body is on the line. She is like floating in a barn with an open flame right below her. You know, like that sucks. It's a quick turnaround.
You
I
want to
don't like
know
that
what
Poor
part.
Kate, she didn't even get featured that much. She's just off screen getting eaten alive by spiders.
you want to know what the sexiest part about this movie was to me in the romance?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Was when he turns to Sarah and he's like, "Do you want to run errands with me?"
I
The
knew you would say
domesticity.
that. That was like, I was like, this is Alex and Sydney Core. That's what this is.
Like a man willingly being like, "Would you like to run errands?" And in like a deep, sexy voice, and then I get to be a passenger princess in his Mustang convertible, like, and he takes me to like a spooky, creepy house. Yes,
And we almost get shot. Yeah.
yes,
Scary, exciting, thrilling, sexy, really activates your
Sexy.
fight, flight, or fuck response.
Yeah, but like nothing would be sexier right after you get shot, and he goes in. And we just see creepy old hand where we later learn, like, no, that's his allegedly dead father who's 44 years old and looks like that SpongeBob character that's in the wheelchair.
Oh, Sydney's
yeah.
doing lots of good calls tonight.
No, you're
Like
actually
looks exactly like
absolutely
that.
right.
Mhm.
Sort of similar to Under the Sea when they showed his creepy hand. I thought he had a tentacle finger. I was wrong, but I thought he had a tentacle finger, and I was like, "Ooh, where could this be going?"
What
Not
is
that direction. Yeah, I just love that he looks like that, and like the reveal later, he's like, "Eddie's 44." Like I was shocked. I was like, I thought he'd be 50, but he really burnt it quick.
I would just like to say that I guessed at some point earlier in my notes. Oh, I'm looking at it right now, actually. Right after they showed the old hand, I said, okay, old hand, I bet that is dad. Like the magic ages them, but they don't actually age. So even though he's like 45 or whatever, he looks 100. And then he was 44. And I was like, wow, I nailed it.
10 out of 10.
Thank you.
You have seen this before, though.
All right. Don't take it away from me.
It was like
Yeah.
20 years ago, so it doesn't
Yeah.
count.
It was
but-
almost 20 years ago. That's fucked up.
Oh God, I just said a number. I'm so sorry. I was almost right. It ages us. Okay, the apex of the film, is that the right word to use? We're gonna use it. The apex of the film, the climax of the film, which is that's not the climax of the film. It's my time that I climaxed during the film, and that is
Oh.
the shower scene.
The boy shower scene or the girl
The-
shower scene?
The boy shower scene. The girl shower scene just made me feel very upset and gave me Invisible Man vibes.
But
and
I
Invisible
also-
Man
Also, the
plagiarized
roommate-
this movie.
The roommate. Don't forget the roommate.
And the roommate. It was giving me the roommate. I was like, it's Aly Michalka. She's gonna get stabbed.
I
Or
also
whatever
love
happens to Aly
her
Michalka.
tattoos. She has a tramp stamp and a back tattoo that disappear and reappear all throughout this movie. Why are
Very
they plot
important.
relevant? Why did she need them? Pick one.
I was like, oh, like she's Christian. Will that make it hard for this pagan Wiccan boyfriend? Will that be something they have to overcome? You'll find out in the sequel. They that definitely thought might happen. But we'll get to that. Okay, I'm talking about the other shower scene, the sexier shower scene with all
when
the
all the boys are
butts.
naked together. Yeah.
Where all the boys are naked together.
Yay.
And they do lots of homoerotic things like slap each other's butts. And I just want to say that this is Sebastian Stan whole thing, Chace. where Aaron is like, basically what happens. Aaron's like, "What are you looking at?" So he's just uncomfortable with the fact that he's gay and he's doesn't want to be seen. I get it, Aaron. It's fine. It's hard when Sebastian Stan is right there. But Sebastian Stan is so mean. Could you imagine someone saying that to you? I don't have a penis, so I don't care about any part of my body being big or small. But imagine someone saying it looks like a penis, but it's a lot smaller. That's so mean.
It is mean, but he did just get called the F slur. So I think that one is allowed and free and fair.
Oh my God, does he say the F slur?
Yeah, he sure does. He says, "What are you looking at?"
Bleep.
Oh, see, my ears. Maybe I watched.
They
the
don't even
censored
hear
version.
it. You're such
I
a good
can't
person.
even hear the F slur. That's not true. But did Chace not look like he deeply enjoyed that hit?
Oh,
that
he did.
punch to his face. That was like the most sensual face I've seen in a long time. Like I was like, oh my, oh,
The
Sebastian.
choking, yeah, the choking was also a lot.
Oh, what? He choked him?
Yeah, he chokes him up against the locker after.
Which is
I
very
don't
Oh, he
sexy.
pushes.
Mm-hmm. I think he gets punched and then he does the choking because that's when he says, like, "Don't be so sensitive. Aaron size isn't everything," which is also kind of funny.
And all the rest of the guys were like, ooh, yeah, we love that. He loves to this. I don't even
They're
know.
all like,
I don't even know.
"You
It's
go,
just
girl!"
gay, but
Yeah.
it's confusingly gay. And another thing that Nightmare Maven brought up, which I thought was really, really interesting, was this like idea that maybe the fact that they are gay gives them their powers, which I don't know if I don't think that that's true, but it's a fun thing to think about. It's like they're fueled with gay magic, and so like that's how they I don't know. She was saying because like they become magical at the age of 13, which is when puberty hits, and they're also connected to each other and their powers. They can feel each other's powers and blah 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 in the night when they're being drenched men, blah blah blah. But then she was like, I like that idea until we get to what it actually means. That's like if they use their gay powers, then it kills them. And then it gets into some really dark, like AIDS allegory shit for the dad and stuff. And so I was like, oh, it was so fun. And then it was very
Yeah.
not.
It's also the magic is so like straight procreation based, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That like you can't be adopted in, you know what I mean? So that would make it a little hard for us to fully gay couple them off if we want the magic to continue. But also maybe the magic is a bad thing. Maybe it should die out.
Well, yeah, it seems well, I mean, it's great when your car blows up and you become many atoms and then you can reanimatize. That's great. But like in other scenarios, if it's just gonna make you get old and wrinkly, that sucks. That's just so different than so many of the other like witch interpretations that I've seen where like people like use their witch powers to look like gorgeous, hot, sexy young minxes because it's usually women. So
it's a little Portrait of Dorian Gray
yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
Totally. No, that's totally spot on.
I would be so pissed though if I had cool powers and was like, but you die. I'd be like, okay, well, I'm gonna live a cool ass life then. I'd do it. I'd be like, peace out, bye. Going balls to the wall. Here for a good time, not a long time, you know?
That's what the dad did though. I fucking hate all the politicians. Will they shut the fuck up? Stop texting me, you dumb bitch.
I
Don't send
decided
me
who I
14
was gonna
emails.
vote for like a year ago. Like I'm good.
Bam. Others. Enough.
Oh god. But
Cut that out.
No,
Yeah,
I'm keeping that in.
But okay, back to gay superpowers. The power of swimming is one of them. Apparently.
The power of swimming is one of them. Yeah.
The power
that's
of
so funny.
swimming compels you. The power of swimming compels you.
It does compel me, Sydney. That's what I'm trying to say here. I was briefly a swimmer. And I always joke that if I had access to a school swim team, I would be in the Olympics. It's not true. I hit puberty and then I got really big non-hydrodynamic hips. And so it never would have worked out. But I was on the swim team for a while. And so I was subjected to some hot men in Speedos and then this one like kind of, the dad in this movie, sort of like that, but in a Speedo. There are some guys like that too, so a little bit of a different vibe. But there needs to be more swimming as the sport played in films.
Yes.
Just saying. Like it's never swim. It's like basketball, it's soccer, it's football. I don't want to see anything about football. I'm sorry, Sydney. I know you don't agree, but I don't want to see any of that shit. I want to see someone doing the butterfly stroke. I want to do someone
And Pogue
doing
absolutely is the butterfly guy. Like that
yeah.
body is absolutely the one where you're like leaping out of the water, doing all that core work every single
I
stroke.
We do love
literally
swimmer
God.
bods.
have never been able to do that stroke, and I don't understand. Like you have to like thrust your whole body out of the water. You're like a beautiful sea animal. It's gorgeous, and everyone should see it. God, it's a sexy boy gay witch movie with swimming. Like this was made for us. I'm sorry. I'm
That is
happy.
also when you start to really get suspicious of Sebastian Stan too, because you see his eyes go black in the water, and then Sebastian Stan smashes his head, and then right after that it's like, oh, his student ID was in the back of the dead kid's car. And that's when I really started to be like, okay, is this
Caleb
super
smashes
obvious?
his head.
Yeah, Steven Strait plays Caleb.
Oh,
Isn't
you
that what
said
I said?
Sebastian Stan.
Oh,
Okay.
anyway, they should not both have SS names, I don't think.
Well,
if I
how do
were
you think I feel
charge of
where
their
Sebastian
names.
Stan's name is Chace and Chace Crawford is also in this? It's
I
very
know.
confusing.
Very
Look,
confusing.
why are they doing this to us? Anyway, yes, okay, you're right. Caleb smashes his head, and then that's when they start to like really get actively suspicious of him.
Pogue
And
was always
investigating
suspicious
him.
of him, though.
Pogue was always like, this
Yeah.
guy's moving in on my
Like,
girl Kate.
I don't like this. And I love when Kate's like, Caleb wouldn't be jealous.
Oh my
Poor
god.
Kate.
And
She's
Sarah
got a
just sits there
boyfriend.
like smiling, like, yeah, he wouldn't be. But okay, Sarah did make a good point. She's like, oh my god, Pogue's being so jealous and it's disgusting and it's horrible. And Sarah's like, okay, but you like actively have a crush on
Right.
Chace.
Yes,
Like,
she's like,
obvious.
he's so jealous. Maybe I should go for Chace. And it's like, well, what do you think he's picking up on
like
then? A little
Sarah.
bit. A little
Sarah
bit.
knows, like Kate girl, honey, Pogue is a magical being. He can pick up what you're putting down.
Right.
Mhm. But I mean, I think it's so sad that Kate was, I assume, such a sweet, nice girl going around picking up new friends and strays at the school. I mean, Sarah's her roommate, so they did get paired together. But Sarah's new, Chase is new, Sebastian Stan, and she's like, these are my friends. I'm bringing them around to the party. She's trying to be sweet. What does she get? 1,000 spider bites.
dude, the spider aspect of this, I don't really have arachnophobia, but you do hate to see that.
Don't
The
worry.
CGI
IMDb trivia said
spiders
all
are
the
bad,
spiders
though.
are CGI.
Oh, those
I
are
like,
the
thanks,
fakest
you
looking
needed to
spiders
clarify that
I've
for me.
ever seen. The CGI work in this is truly inspired. Really added to
The way
it for
he
me.
Plucks the spider off on the beginning and then squishes it on camera. I did like when they were like, chivalry's not dead. No, it just transferred in. I thought that was kind of funny.
Oh,
Kinda
okay.
cute.
To answer your question, I think when I started becoming suspicious of Sebastian Stan is during the book version of a Google moment that we get also in Twilight, Catherine Harding, where she's in the library pulling out all the books about the Ipswich witches. I probably said that wrong. Pretend I didn't.
No, it sounded great to me.
Oh, thank you so much. And she gets to the part about the spiders being a sign of blah 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 blah. And I was like, he had a spider, huh?
He fully picked it up with his bare ass hands and then just held it for a moment.
I also love that when the guys like get all their info about Chace and they're like, okay, let me make a dramatic pronouncement to you all. In this dungeon room filled with 1 million candles, all witches need a candle dungeon. Every single one.
Agreed. But wait, we skipped a part about how they found all this information and they float on the ceiling and then save the papers so they don't.
It's so good. The paper's fluttering and then he freezes them in midair.
That shot was
I loved how that was
iconic.
done.
It's an iconic shot.
So they do a really, look, 4% on Rotten Tomatoes. Sure. But I think the way that they do magic is super fun, even if it looks a little silly and fake. I think they had a
Deserves
blast with
at
it.
least a 10% on Rotten Tomatoes. Come on.
This is
Come
worth
on.
a 25%.
Oh my God.
Okay, but after we see their like sexy, spooky, witchy dungeon lair, Caleb gets a call from Sarah, and she's like, Kate, she's in a hospital, blah 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 blah. She's
all fucked up.
all
Her
fucked up.
doctors were violating so much
HIPAA laws.
HIPAA stuff. Yeah, they're giving all her information away. Damn. Anyway,
But so he has to tell Pogue, obviously, who just runs up the stairs, gets in his yellow Ducati, and is going like 140 miles down the street. And all of a sudden, we just see Sebastian Stan in the middle of the road.
a little Jennifer's body-ish almost.
So sexy.
But what he says is the stupidest shit I've ever heard. Little Miss Muffet.
With such venom. So much venom when he says Little Miss Muffet.
Can you imagine saying that so seriously? Like, how many times did he crack, or is he just that good of an actor?
Yeah, I mean, he lays it out. He's like, I hurt Kate to get to Pogue. I'm hurting Pogue to get to Caleb. I'm gonna kidnap Sarah to get to Caleb. Like, he is very fixated on Caleb, and it is gay.
He's got a crush on him.
He wants his gay power.
I don't blame him. He's giving Jacob vibes, so of course he has a crush on him.
But so we have Kate out now, Pogue out now. Caleb is clearly distressed because Pogue is actually his boyfriend.
Yeah, agree.
Like, and that's why Sebastian Stan is fixated on Pogue, because he wants him removed so he can also have Caleb. Everybody just wants Caleb in this movie, except
I
for
don't blame
Reed
him.
and Tyler, because they have each other.
Yeah, they're really cute together.
They make a
Baby
great
Chace
couple.
Crawford is like a little cherub, just saying.
He is very adorable in this movie.
I can't believe they don't get to do a single thing at the end of the movie. They're really just totally sidelined. Like, it makes sense why Sarah's completely out of commission, because she's, again, the bait. She's just there to be a damsel in distress so that she can be dramatically carried out at the end of the film. While wearing a very cute little choker and evening gown, I mean, good
Which,
for her. And
the
that
evening gown, I think, is Caleb's mom's evening gown.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier, maybe before we were recording, and I was like, but I think you might be right, which is so weird.
They just go to that house. They just go to Caleb's house.
And then they're like, we're actually going to this dance. What?
Why? They threw that in there.
Like, if they had made it clear that it was a dance, then that would have made a lot more sense to me. But like the Fall Fest, I thought it was a carnival. Or like the drink apple cider and look at pumpkins or something, but it's like homecoming, I guess, so that's cool. Or
But
she's
here's
incredibly overdressed.
She's just having a moment. She loves to be a diva. Yeah, I don't know. I was just watching A Cinderella Story the other day as well. And obviously the thing in that movie is also like, I have to be home by midnight. And his whole thing here is like, my birthday is 12 minutes after 11. Why are these school dances all going so late? Why do they seem to all start at 11 p.m.? What's the deal with that?
Because teens
It's
are
poor
not
writing.
tired.
His birthday could have been at 9:45. You know what I mean? Like, they could have made that choice.
Well,
They could have also set this in college and been like, you ascend when you're 25, which would make more sense
Or
from
21.
a biological standpoint, considering that's when your brain, roughly speaking, finishes developing. And also 18 was not like the age of majority or anything back in the Salem witch trial days, to my understanding, but I'm no historian.
Yeah, this would have been a better, like, if they were aged
Why high school
up.
setting?
I agree. They also they fucked up so much about the end of this movie. I have so many things to say, but before that, we skipped the part where Chace
The two
pretends
Steven
to be
Straits are on
Caleb.
scene. Yeah, it's so good.
Double Caleb, and then the sexiest pin to the bathroom floor thing I've seen in a while. Wow. Just wow. I mean, like, you can say what you want about any of the other scenes being like, oh, maybe like if you're not even remotely gay and you just refuse to believe that gay people exist at all, then you could be like, there's no gay vibes in the other parts of this movie. But once you get to that scene in the dorm room bathroom, it's like,
Gay.
it's
There's
so gay.
fully a kiss. Yeah, it is. There's a smooch. There is a smooch.
And he's like moving his face like close to Caleb's mouth, like for a while, and like getting all up in his business, like breathing on him. Like, he's got a crush and he doesn't know how to deal with it. And so the only way he can cope with it is by killing him.
I did think it was like a super I did think it was like a super interesting explanation though during that scene when they were talking about it and Caleb was saying like, this is not gonna work to make you not age the same way or to keep you alive faster. Like, you'll have more power, which means you'll have more temptation to use it, which means actually you're gonna age faster, you stupid bitch.
Yeah, it's like it's gonna burn the wick faster. Yeah. You only got so much wax because we know how candles work.
You do know how candles work.
He's gone.
Not the power.
Like, yeah. If the flame, aka the power, I like this analogy, burns brighter than the candle, melts faster, and then you die. There you go. Anyway, I had a great time.
So smart.
That. Wow, thank you so much.
Way to really weigh it
analogy.
Made it clear for everyone.
Thank you so much. I hope it helped.
I will say, now that I'm looking at my notes for that scene, the next bit, Sarah is a little smart. They do give her a little something. She's putting pieces together between her scary spider dream and then Kate's real life spider scary injuries and her research earlier. Because she does realize, like, she doesn't do anything that's like helpful to the plot, but she lays things out for the audience a little bit. By being like, oh, John Putnam, I remember him from the book. You guys talked about him earlier with Goody whatever.
Goody Pope.
And
Goody Pope.
Goody
What
Pope,
a name.
Agnes Pope. Spiders are like John Putnam's thing, and he came to her in a dream as an incubus, blah, blah, blah.
No, but that's because Sarah's not like other girls.
Yeah, you're so right. You're so right.
Yeah, no, but that's the only reason.
Wow.
They didn't get into the dad thing enough though for them to have the whole emotional weight with the dad be like, he loves you, well then he'll die with that secret, and then like him giving up his powers at the end. They should have done more about like that relationship to have that any emotional payoff.
I was just like, okay, cool, the mashed potato man has died.
He looked like he was just about to anyway, so
right.
Yeah. Like, least he can do is die so his son can slay this baddie.
And slay this baddie he does.
Oh my god, that final scene. I will say Sarah looked fucking cool as shit, floating in the sky with her hair flying all over the place. Very cool. Very dreamy, not Cinderella, Snow White vibes I was getting. So good for her and the costume designer. But that was the longest fight I've ever seen. It was so long. It was so long that it stopped being cool a little bit for me towards the end. I was like, I've seen so many orbs. I don't know. How many orbs will I see today?
Okay.
Like 10 more.
But when y'all were watching the fight scene, were you making your own sound effects to it?
I wish that they were dressed in colors, maybe two different, distinct, slightly more vibrant colors than one in a white shirt and one in a black shirt, because they looked a little too similar. And I was just talking to someone over the weekend who does like costume design and stuff like that. And they were talking about how some movies, like, oh, the distinct different, you can tell even by their silhouettes and their own color schemes, blah, blah, blah. This movie has just one color scheme and it's all very drab. They should have more fun.
It was visually confusing at times, but also
they look so similar.
Something that we haven't brought up, it needs to be brought up.
Oh.
If you haven't watched the movie, when they do magic, their whole eye goes black. The whole thing, not just like not the
It
iris,
like
the
goes
whole.
red for a second.
Oh yeah,
and
it
then
goes
black.
with fire, and then it's black. And like, I don't know, something about blacked out eyes like that I find to be incredibly hot.
It's
I
very
love
demons from Supernatural.
I love
It's
demons.
very demons from
I
Supernatural.
haven't watched Supernatural either.
You would
So-
probably love it because it's very gay.
Monica, you would
I
love
know.
Supernatural, at least the first like couple seasons.
My friend Lottie, who will be on the pod, is a huge Supernatural stan, and so I've heard all about it. But I have not spent the time. I don't want to cash in on any Jared Padalecki content at this moment. I'm still
And
stemmed
I
from Gilmore
love
Girls,
that
and
for you, and I respect that choice, and I think it's the right one.
yeah, unfortunately.
Unfortunately,
But the eyes, man, I was like,
Yeah.
why is this so hot to me? Why is this like really hot to me right now? Anyway, that whole scene, their eyes were blacked out the whole time, and I was like, yeah, keep it up, boys.
yeah. I don't know. I liked the fight scene. I think a lot of it is really good. I loved when Steven Strait kicked Sebastian Stan in his fucking face. But then that like final shot or whatever
wanna
when he just
be
like
my
slow
biatch?
motion, he slow motion blows back into the explosion in the
After Caleb's dad wills him his power.
wills him his power. Listen to me, William. I need you to understand me. He is your son. For once in your
Oh
life,
my
think
god.
of someone other than yourself.
I will you my power. And then it just finds him. How is who like what? He could have willed that to anybody,
It sounded like he was giving it to his wife.
right? Well, women can't have
I know.
powers. That would never happen.
You're so right. You're so
Yeah,
right. I'm such
silly
a stupid bitch
Chelsea.
for thinking that.
Magic is for men.
Yeah,
Magic is
everybody
for men.
knows that.
Boys and their toys.
Us
Women
girls
can
just
have
sit at the table
fun.
and twiddle our thumbs. Okay, no rock and roll for you.
Shut
honey.
the fuck up. I hate that. That's so annoying.
Oh
But
my
yeah, I mean, he
God.
blows back in. Kate and Pogue wake up in their hospital beds, and you're just like, okay, that's it, basically.
Bro, it gets even worse than that though. The end of this movie, the end is the worst ending I have ever seen in my
and
life.
the last line
It
is
is
so
the
fucking
worst
funny.
Thing I've ever seen. They're like, oh, we didn't find a body anywhere. They didn't find Sebastian Stan's body anywhere. / Chace. And she's like, Sarah's like, what do you think happened? Like, where is he? And Caleb's like, I don't know.
And then he-
That's it.
No.
And then they have the book in the fight. They're
No,
so
and then
clearly
he
angling for
fixes
a
his
sequel.
car window in front of everybody, and then they drive away.
That it's
Ugh.
just, it was so bad. It was so bad.
They so
Okay.
clearly just wanted a second movie to explore, like, is he still alive? Was he just weakened? Did his powers pass to someone else? What happens? Is there more out there? Like, they really thought the power of 4 sexy men would carry a franchise.
It was literally just like the word, like wording wise, it was so terrible. It was like another line earlier in the movie when Kate's like, hey, we're going to town to get some things. Do you need some stuff? It was like, this is just an assemblage of words. Like, this is just words in whatever order. It was so anticlimactic. Oh,
Okay, but here's the absolute banger of the truth. This movie would slap as a CW series.
yes.
All the CW did a what was it called? The Circle, that was like about witches or something like that, wasn't it? Didn't they do?
I don't have cable.
I didn't watch it. This was years ago.
I don't know.
Anyway,
But that would
all
slap, and
CWs
you'd get
want what this
equally
movie has.
sexy
Yeah.
men in it who are equally
Mhm.
as ripped. Everyone on the CW is so ripped. So weird. Scarily ripped. But yeah, I hated that ending. I literally laughed. Actually, I laughed hysterically at that ending. I thought it was really it was like a comedic ending. But yeah, this movie is already a gay party rock anthem. But could it be gayer? Yes. Let's talk about how.
I do
Maybe-
think that Pogue and Caleb like Kate and Sarah. So I feel like they should be in a poly relationship, the four of them. Especially because Kate and Sarah are always getting naked together.
Yeah.
Should
That
just
works
be
for
a
me.
4-person quad, whatever.
We don't see enough quad ships out there in film and television.
I'm not usually into a quad. Usually I max out at thruple, but I like what's going on here.
But I feel like the pod would go like Sarah and Caleb. It would be like a square. Know what I mean? Where like
Sarah and Caleb, Kate and Pogue, Sarah and Kate, Pogue and Caleb.
Yeah.
Not Caleb and Kate.
yeah, and
No
not
Pogue
Sarah
and
and
Sarah.
Pogue.
I
Like
agree.
they
I
like
agree.
that's how
Yeah.
it would work.
It's
Like,
not a
I
perfect
totally agree.
yeah,
poly
like it's
quad.
like it's like a square flow
it's a
chart,
poly
right?
coupling. Agree.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yes.
Yeah, there are
And then Reed
some.
and Tyler, yeah,
Yeah, they're in it,
partnered.
but they're just like together, you
Mhm.
know?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they just watch and they're on their own doing their own business. I
Yeah.
love them together. They can be little bad boys together. Oh God, I'm very attracted to Reed. Too bad he got only 10 lines. But at least it's more than Chace Crawford. Poor guy. But this launched his career and it's gorgeous. We love to see that. Sebastian Stan, I have to say, this is not about him, the gayness of this, but like he's aged like a fine wine. It's like beautiful. He's
Mhm.
gotten much sexier as he's older. In this, he looks like a little baby who's angry. To me,
And he
but
is. He is a little
Yeah.
baby who's angry.
He's a little baby who's angry. That's how it.
I
felt.
mean, I do think it is not ideal that he is a character who gets called
Bleep.
and he kisses a man on the mouth and he is the villain and then everybody else is like, my lady love. But again, if we make all the other characters queer, then it balances out. So it's fine.
we have to put in that work. You got to put in
Yeah.
a lot of work with this movie. You got to put
Yes,
in a
the
lot
audience
of work.
has to bring a lot to the table.
You have to will yourself to forget about just the women in general. The movie forgets about the women actually. But
The movie actually does that heavy lifting for you. Yeah.
yeah, actually, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. I take it back.
But
I
yeah,
think
I mean, those are some great ways to be gayer for sure.
No, I think those are all very compelling. Okay, then we must ask, where would Matthew Lillard fit into this film?
Old age makeup as the dad.
Yeah, you would look great as mashed potatoes. You would look great as mashed potatoes. That's obviously a very young guy underneath there, so it's perfect.
I love that.
He could be the caretaker, Gorman.
Great name.
could
I would
be
love to have a
Gorman.
dog named Gorman.
That's a great idea. I also think he would be a great janitor. For that one scene, just as a little cameo, he's the janitor where the papers fly down and almost hit him in the head. Little gag part of the movie for you. It would if he had been in this movie though, I would have gotten such the Curve vibes that I would have passed out. You know, just his presence would have turned it into that film, because that also is a blue movie about boys, for boys.
Yeah.
We do love
That's why you have to put him in the old age makeup. Hide him
Yeah.
away a little bit.
Exactly. So it's like a nod. It's like a wink and a nod to the Curve, which I can't wait to do that.
January, maybe.
We should do that one. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, so dumb bitch. Who's the dumb bitch?
Sebastian Stan.
or the
yeah,
dad.
because
He won't even listen to reason though. Caleb's like, this is not
He's an
gonna work.
addict.
Yeah,
yeah,
is.
that's the thing. He
The
is an addict.
addiction
They do.
allegory makes me feel bad about saying that.
Mhm.
But I guess also the
They're
dad
so
is an addict,
explicit about
too.
that. Yeah, they're so explicit about that. And the way that like mom talks to the dad about it is like rings really familiar with the way addiction
Yeah.
storylines are so often handled. I don't know. I also feel like a little bad for him because nobody ever explained any of this shit to him. He just kind of had
Yeah.
to figure it out for the most
Yeah.
part. But he has also done a lot of murders. So that's
And he
actually
loves-
not part of being an addict.
He loves to murder. He loves it. He just
Um
really digs it.
yeah, I mean, I think that he can be the dumb bitch. I think that's definitely an argument that you could make. I do also kind of just think the writers or writer possibly. I don't know who. Oh, there's just
Created
one
this.
person who wrote it. A little bit there, the dumb bitch, because there's so much they left out that they could have really added to the film. The characterization for so many characters is just not really there. I mean, but that also the writer did write that "weotch" line, so you actually are doing great for that one. How about I make you my weotch?
So important to me. I love it. I couldn't believe my ears. I was like, it just keeps getting better and better. I thought we peaked at the Little Miss Tuffet or whatever Muppet. What the fuck is her
Muffet,
name?
Little Miss Muffet.
Little Miss Muffet. Oh, sorry. She sat on
Along
her
came a
Tuffet
spider and sat down beside her. Yeah.
and Miss Muffet away. Poor thing. So it's beautiful. Bring in a
Maybe a
nursery
tie.
rhyme.
Maybe a tie.
A tie between the writer and Chace. Perfect. That seems very fair. And then I guess that brings us to our knives.
Or I mean, Caleb doubted his friend Reed, who was telling the truth. That's
Reed was
how
being
dare
sus
you.
as fuck.
He was, but he was also telling the truth.
He was being sus as
when
fuck.
they did that confrontation, and he was like, "Reed, beyond the second time around when they had the Book of the Damned," and he was like, "Reed, were you lying?" And Reed was like, "No," and he's like, "Do you swear?" And he's like, "No." Caleb should have said, "I believe you." That's what you say to your friend after you've accused them of being a liar. You say, "I believe you. I'm sorry. I accused you of lying." Just because you're a little
enough
shit
for him to be
doesn't
dumb
mean.
bitch.
I'm just saying he gets a nomination.
Caleb, you should have trusted your fucking shady friend Reed, who gives Draco Malfoy vibes. I don't blame him, man. Sorry, that guy's got an energy that I also find sexy. Don't get me wrong. But anyway, we're at our knives out of fives. We already know that this got a 4% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, and they're
what
wrong.
What else did it get? They're wrong.
It got a 5.1 out of 10 on IMDb.
That is so different than 4%. I don't. Anyway,
well,
keep going.
Yeah, I mean, the 4% on Rotten Tomatoes is from critics. Audiences on Rotten Tomatoes gave it 62% fresh. So audiences liked it and had a good time.
Oh, great.
It's just the critics that were like, "This is absolutely 100% trash."
The critics don't know what the people want.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if the award section is just missing for this movie on IMDb, because I would be shocked if it was not relevant at all at like the MTV Movie Awards. You know what I mean? I feel
what about the Razzies?
MTV Movie Awards 2006. Like, I just feel like there's no way. Actually, it probably would be 2007, right? Don't you think? When did this movie come out? Like, come on. I don't know. I mean, I'm not seeing anything on here either, but it just doesn't feel right to me that such a sexy man movie would get completely overlooked by like the Teen Choice Awards, you know? But apparently maybe it did.
I don't know. They just weren't prepared for it. I think the sexiest part of it was all the gayness, and then it was 2006. Alas.
And people were going, "Whoa, what was that about? Gay?
Yeah, no homo. No homo, but isn't Caleb like so hot in that movie? But no homo. Okay. I mean, who wants to go first? Who wants to take a stab at it?
This movie slaps. I actually recommended it. One of my friends was like, "Okay, I'm trusting all of your horror movie advice. What should I do?" And I was like, "Okay, you have to watch The Craft, and then immediately after The Craft, you have to watch this movie."
Oh my God.
I think they are a perfect double feature, quite frankly. And
that'd be a fun Cinespia double feature.
Yes.
Yeah, it would be.
Like, this movie is stupid and bad, and the writing's bad, and the acting is bad, but God, will I absolutely rewatch this movie? Have I watched this movie 3 times already? Yes. Well, I made my cousin and my aunt watch it with me for the first time, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna rewatch it. And then I was like, you know what? I want to watch this again.
You know what? One more time.
Like
I
the
don't blame you.
soundtrack is great. It has some Rob Zombie in it, and I love Rob Zombie. It has so many sexy boys. It has swimming. It has no feminism in it whatsoever. Refreshing,
such a
quite
plus.
frankly.
What?
It only has a cell phone for a short moment, and that cell phone is this big.
Exactly.
It's a little guy.
We love no cell phones. So I'm gonna give this movie a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
I love this movie.
What do you think, Monica? I'm not ready to go yet, I don't think.
It's so hard because, like, did I have like a spectacular time? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I had a spectacular time. I mean, Sydney hit a lot of my main points here. Swimming is a big one of them. We love to see it. We love swimming. I think that when I think about this as like a boy version of The Craft, it makes me hate it. I'm sorry, Sydney. I don't like the comparison to The Craft because The Craft is
Well done.
so yes.
Listen,
good.
they're opposite ends of the spectrum. One is about women and is
No.
very good, and one is with boys and very bad, but they are both good.
I feel like maybe I'd like switch it and do The Covenant first. But if it was a Sinespia thing, then I would do The Covenant second. So by that point, you're really drunk.
You're sleepy, yeah, or
You're
you're like high or
super
whatever.
drunk. Yeah.
You're less invested in watching a movie.
Yes, fair. But that said, I mean, I can't give it like an amazing score because it is like low key offensive as a woman to watch it. I didn't feel that way, but I was like, I should be upset right now, but I'm too enthralled by the I love rock and roll
Mhm.
part.
She's
I was
bewitched.
howling, screaming at the top of my lungs. I was like, what's happening right now? Poor BB woke up from his nap. But yeah, so I can't give this higher than a 4. I don't feel like I can give it a 4. I feel like I can give it a 3.8 and a big old smooch with tongue because it was. I loved it. But I also can be objective as a film critic.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who is now identifying as a lesbian, this movie on a sexy front is not giving me much to work with. So I'm losing a lot of what the appeal of this film is. That said, I love the magic in it. I think it's also fun. They have such a blast with that. I love the opening when they just like jump off into the void. I like the group dynamics, although I wish we got a little more interpersonally between the characters, which is like what I like about stories is like I like the relationship aspect of it, and the focus on the relationships here is mainly Sebastian Stan being homoerotic to people, and then the boys being like, my girlfriend, but the girlfriend is not a person really, so it's like that relationship can only have
She's
so much
like a
depth.
cardboard cutout.
Yeah, she could be replaced by a mannequin and it would literally not change the plot. But it is just so fun. The music, I think, is really what carries it for me because it makes every scene you're just kind of like bopping along. The vibes are right. You're having a blast. But I think I'll probably stay in that same range as you guys because there's so much that could have made it like a genuinely better story and film. That said, would I have liked that? I don't know. I kind of like that it's like so vapid in its own way. You know what I mean? Like you really don't need to engage meaningfully. But because of that, I wouldn't give it more than a 4 either. So I think I'll also go with like a 3.75 knives out of 5s. That's where I'll land, I think.
I just want to end this by saying I am so thankful that this movie exists.
It doesn't have to be good to be enjoyable.
It doesn't have to be good to be the best. And so maybe I'll watch it again tonight. No, I need to watch Twilight actually. That's what I got to do tonight. It's just the vibe. I'm being called.
It's just the
I'm being
vibe.
called.
Yeah,
I'm being called.
they sent you there. They put you in that position.
Next week, we're doing something new. We're doing something fresh. We're doing something that came out in September 2022. We're doing something that blew my mind in the theaters, and I don't know if I can watch it on a normal screen. I might have to go back out to the theaters to see this bad boy. We are doing Barbarian, because honeys, it's hitting video on demand. So you can watch it at home if you don't want to go to the theater. But it's happening. If you haven't seen this movie, go see it and don't look anything up. I'm not going to say anything else. I don't want to say anything else. Chelsea can't hear anything else because she hasn't seen it. Sydney and I have, and we have the weight of the world on our shoulders. But this is a movie that you cannot have spoiled.
You can't.
Oh my gosh.
You can't.
Okay.
You can't have it
Okay.
spoiled. I'm not
scared
saying
and
it's
I'm
like the
ready.
best movie ever, but like if I told you what happened, it was like, what's the point of watching it? Like it's like
Sure.
wild.
I'm so
It's-
curious.
it's
You
a
should
time to
be.
be alive. I think you're gonna like it, but again, I've been wrong so many times. So you'll just have to wait and see, baby. And you, listener, go see it. It's great. Okay, anyway. Now we're moving on from that to social media and to 5-star reviews. Why not picture the hot, sexy boys of the Covenant and think about what you think about them, and then give us that exact score for an Apple Podcast review? I feel like it should be 5 out of 5, even just like in an objective human form kind of sense. You know
5
what I mean?
knives for the 5 bloodlines of the Covenant.
Oh,
Ooh.
wow. Yeah. You can write like a haiku about Chace Crawford, maybe like write some lines that maybe he could have had. That could be fun in the review. Just any sort of thing that he could have said.
Pink lace panties. That's only 4 syllables.
Damn it.
So close.
So
Anyway,
close.
feel free
There's
to
something there.
incorporate. Yeah.
There's something there. I'm sure you'll figure it out. We know our listeners are very smart. And why not follow us on social media while you're at it? We are at spooky_Tuesday on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. Spooky Tuesday Pod on Tumblr and Facebook. And we have a letterboxd at Spooky Tuesday. And
quick update for your haiku review. The line is pink lacy. So pink lacy panties. That is the right amount of syllables. So file that away.
we have written it for you pretty much at this point.
Pink
So
lacy panties. 5 syllables. Opener or closer? Up to you.
you've got there's just, I mean, it writes itself. You got to do it. We're so close to 100 reviews. Get us there. But anyway, at the end of the day, what I have to say is we have a YouTube channel, because I forgot to mention that. We have a YouTube channel as well. You should like and subscribe. And also at the end of the day, I'll say thank you for listening.
Bye, spookies.
How about I make you my biatch?
Spooky Tuesday was created by Monica Haidt, Sydney Thompson, and Chelsea Duff, and edited by Sydney Thompson. Our gorgeously spooky tunes are all thanks to Tamra Simons, who you can follow on Instagram at Captain Tamra, and our podcast art is by Mary Murphy, who you can find on Instagram at _the_moon_omg.